Welcome to Behind the Scenes with me, Kev Furber. We're doing a quick interview with Karl from Coachworks. I'll explain all about that in a minute. But basically, we've taken a little bit of time out of professional filming here in the studio. I've asked Karl to do us tips and tricks for professional speakers. So we've only got 90 seconds to do it. I better stop wittering. Can you tell me a little bit about you, Karl? Just a quick overview of what your company does.
We run a management consultancy that provides training and development, coaching and consulting to the auto industry. As the MD of the organisation, I get to speak at all sorts of industry events, and I relish that. But there was a time when I didn't, if we go back 20 or 30 years. So I've got 5 top tips for anybody that's got a big presentation or speech coming up. These 5 things will help them.
Great. Now, what I've actually asked Karl to do is to give us a quick synopsis of something that definitely takes 2 or 3 hours. Your training team often spends all day, maybe even weeks, delivering this type of content. So this is a quick summary, just tips and tricks, but that could be used for everybody, not just business leaders.
I think the first thing you've got to recognise is it's a key moment in time. It's a big event, so you've got to give it the time that it deserves. And there's actually an industry ratio. 1 day on your feet is 3 days of preparation. For Coachworks, it's probably 5 days of preparation because we're really creative. I was paid a compliment at an event recently where a client of ours came up to me and said, "You made that look really easy. How long did it take you to prepare?" And I did some basic maths and I said, about 3 man days. And they said, "Really, for just a presentation of that length?" I said, "Yeah." But I made it look really easy. And that's the key thing. You want to come across as natural as you can. So 5 tips?
Yeah, 5 tips. Let's go.
First one, you've got to know your audience. You've got to know your audience, who they are, what they want, and what you want them to do. And then you can reference the people in the audience, why they're there, their experience, what they do, and you can make it much more engaging. And you see it, don't you? You see it on TV, where the presenter might speak to the audience or reference people there that have come to see them. So know your audience is key, and you can get the tone right then.
Yeah, and I can relate to that, even with weddings and some motorsport speeches that I do. As much as I might be asked to speak about myself, which is obviously clearly a privilege for the audience, but as much as you might be speaking about yourself, really you do need to reference it back that it's interesting to the people you're speaking to. So it's easy to get lost in your own ego of talking just about your experience, but if nobody can relate to that, and I've got a real life example, I'm sure you're going to think of some, a real life example of somebody who came to do a motorsport speech and actually spoke about his sailing holiday. He used to be a rally driver, but he told us all about his new hobby, which was sailing. And the audience, 200 rally drivers, didn't want to listen to sailing. And actually, he told a very good story, but it was just the wrong subject. He didn't think about the scenario he was in, speaking to 200 rally drivers. I've done it at weddings as well, and I'm sure you can relate to that, that if maybe we've all made that faux pas where you think what I say now will be interesting, and actually it's just the wrong audience. In fact, do you think there's such a thing that there is the wrong audience and not necessarily the wrong speaker?
Sometimes you get the audience you get. So occasionally you might choose to actually speak at an event or not speak at an event, and you reference being a best man. You can't influence who the bride's family and friends are. You've got what you've got. What you have got to do is prepare carefully, though. That's the second point. Preparation, preparation, preparation. You've got to give it the time that it needs. You've got to give consideration to the content. You've got to understand the brief, from the groom or the bride. You can't be over-prepared. So if you're really well prepared, you're going to make it look easy. That brings us on to the third thing, and that's delivery. You've got to get the passion across, haven't you, in anything that you're doing. And you might turn that up or bring that down, depending on the event. But if it was your best mate's wedding, it's got to be a really passionate delivery. You've got to demonstrate in your actions and your words that this is your best mate and you think his wife is lovely and what a wonderful occasion it is. So you can't be stilted. You've got to try and be yourself. And point number 2, preparation helps that. But get the passion across appropriately.
That seems really obvious to say passion, but if it's in a corporate world, how do you become passionate? I'm even thinking here like maybe a preparation to somebody about a pay upgrade, or you're going for a new job. It may even be a student. It's the first time you've ever had an interview. Everybody says if you're passionate about what you do, but what tip is there in passion? How do you what's the key to being passionate?
Well, you've got to be natural and you've got to be interested in the point that you're making. So if you think you're worth more pay, you've got to get that across in the tonality and the points that you're making, how hard you work and how much you love your job and how appreciative you are of the opportunity. So you've got to use words and language to colour the points that you're making. That's really key.
Great. Yep, we totally get that. And your fourth point?
The fourth point is you've got to make eye contact. You know, if there's a room full of people and there's 200 people at that wedding venue or 500 at that industry event, you've got to be mobile. You've got to get some eye contact coming on.
I think we should do it together. We need eye contact.
You absolutely do need eye contact.
I took the microphone off you.
You absolutely do need eye contact, and I can promise you now when I speak, because you learn this stuff over time and you learn from every opportunity, I'll make sure that I rotate my vision, I rotate my body, and everybody feels like I've spoken to them personally, because I haven't looked at the clock at the back of the wall or at one part of the audience. And sometimes you've just got to make sure that the venue suits you. You know, we're sitting here in your studio at Burnley Film Studios. You've set this up carefully for the various bits of filming that we're doing. So the furniture, the environment has got to work for you too. You've got to have a chance of getting eye contact with everybody. So you've got to position yourself carefully. If you ignore half the audience, you're going to turn them off. So make eye contact really important. And do you know the fifth and final thing? If you only had time to prepare on 5 things, that's actually to smile. Make it look like you want to be there. Even if you've got some nerves, that's normal. That means you're taking it seriously, that's fine. But just smile and just let your personality come through a bit. If you're talking about something that's sombre and serious, well, you're not going to have a stupid smile on your face. But there will be moments in any conversation, presentation, delivery, where you can actually just sort of lighten up a bit.
I guess that works right back, and certainly with passion. I think if I had a tip for somebody, it would probably be to say show passion, and by smiling, you show that you love it, so that you hope everybody joins in. And there's clearly lots of scenarios where if you smile, people will smile along with you.
Yeah, definitely, and you can show passion in lots of ways. You can gesticulate. You can say, this is a fantastic opportunity. This is so important. So it's the tonality in the words that you're using, not even just the colourful words and the appropriate words. It's how you put that delivery across. You know, if you're going to say to somebody, I love you, you're going to make eye contact with them, and you're going to pitch it in a particular sort of way.
I've got to say, Karl, that was very frightening.
Well, it has been said before.
By Mrs. Davis, I'm sure. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much for your time. Do we have any final parting words to say? And you know, maybe one thing that we can bring this back to is your team and how they go out there and deliver tips and tricks. Clearly, you have a lot more time to deal with these issues. But maybe, in fact, I can ask you an open question. Are the people that you deal with day to day, leaders of business, you know, whether the managers, under managers, direct employees, whatever, trainees, are these people commonly enthusiastic, passionate? Have they got natural passion to live life to the full, or is this something that you can coach and bring out of them? How many of them are confident public speakers?
Well, Kev, you're being very polite because you've filmed a number of our clients talking about their businesses, and you know, the reality is there's a full range of ability and confidence. It can be taught. It can be taught. 25 years, 30 years ago, I was not a public speaker, and like most people, I would avoid speaking in public. And about 25 years ago, I grasped that nettle, got some coaching, got some training, read some key points, and just practiced. And every day is a school day. So if you've got a desire to become competent, really confident, really effective, you know, if we all have the power of speech, we've all got the potential to actually practice and get really good at something. And it's a fantastic feeling. It's a fantastic feeling when you know, grasp that fear and conquer it. And do you know what I will do, Kev, for anybody here that's listening to this or watching this online? If anybody wanted 5 or 10 minutes of complimentary coaching, it would be my pleasure to help them with that. And if there's any businesses out there that need more structured help, of course, call the office and we can certainly help. But public speaking is something that can be learned if it's something that you want to do.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Karl. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.